All right, so we got our first video here. We got a pretty good one for you today. All right, so as the title states, resourcefulness or the lack thereof. So what does that mean, right? So when we think of being resourceful, typically the first thing that we're going to think about is being able to do something on our own, right? Utilizing the resources that we have to try to get something that we don't, right? Maybe it's fixing a solution, maybe it's finding out new information, whatever that happens to be is going to differ for all of us, right? So I want to start off by talking about why I'm doing this video in the first place and why that this is such an important topic to me. So recently, I've had a lot of people that have reached out to me with various questions on all sorts of things, and this isn't anything new, but it kind of dawned on me that a lot of the questions that I get asked, and as much as it's obviously flattering that people are coming to me with different questions, and I'm not saying that in an egotistical standpoint, I'm a very humble guy, but I can't help but wonder, what if I wasn't in that person's life and they had that question? Would they be more apt to go find that information on their own? What would that whole process look like, right? So recently, a cousin of mine actually reached out to me, right? And she shot me a message and she says, how do I watch the Super Bowl on a Roku? Literally in that exact phrase, right? And the first thing I thought of is, well, I have no idea, right? But I'm a tech guy. I'm the go-to guy in our family for that type of stuff, so I didn't think much of it. But I couldn't help but wonder, why didn't you type that exact phrase into Google? All right, now that might sound like a dick thing for me to say, right? But that's not the point here. The point is when you have a question, I've come to realize that there's two different types of people. Those that want to get the information on their own, and those that will ask somebody or just perhaps skip right over it if that person's not available or the information's not immediately right in front of them, right? So when you think about this, right, and I'm going to use a basic example here, is a word, right? Let's say you're reading. Let's say you're reading a publication, a magazine, a book, an article, whatever it happens to be, right? There's two types of people out there. There's the person that comes across a word they don't recognize and goes and looks it up. Or maybe uses context clues to figure out what that word means. But let's say they're in the absence of context clues, you see a word, you don't know what it means. What do? Do you go look it up? Or do you skip right over it? Those are the two differentiators right there, right? So a lot of times, most people skip right over the word and not go look it up. And in my opinion, that's a basic example. But if you think about that strategy, if you encounter a challenge in your life or something comes up that you don't know the answer to, or there's a problem in your life and you want to correct that problem, maybe it's with your relationship, maybe it's with your fitness goals, maybe it's with your career development, whatever it happens to be, do you sit there and wallow in ignorance? And I use the term ignorance lightly, just means the lack of knowledge, don't mean it to be in an offensive way, but that's what it is, right? So if you don't know an answer, are you apt to go out and get the answer? Seek it, actually improve your knowledge base, or do you sit there in stagnation, right? That's what you really need to think to yourself in these situations. Am I embracing the ignorance, the fact that I don't know something? Is that what I'm doing? Or am I going out and actively trying to educate myself? The reason I'm doing this video, on top of wanting to change the thought process of a lot of people out there that skip over things or don't broaden their mental capacity by learning additional information, you're really limiting yourself in the long run because you're not expanding your knowledge base. And I get it. I understand how as we grow up, right, you look to others to give you information. You look to your parents, your mother, your father, people that you confide in. And then as you go through the school system, you have a teacher, a professor as you go through college. But then once you're out of that environment, now you're in a weird situation because you don't have those gurus on tap that you could tap into, touch on, and extract information from. Now it's on you. So what do you do in those situations? Do you just close off and you're like, nope, that's it. This is what I know. We're going to stay at that standpoint. Or do you actively try to grow on a daily basis when you encounter different challenges? That's the underlying principle and the reason that we're doing this video here today, because I want you to think about that when you're faced with some level of adversity. It could be something as simple as maybe how do you design a meal plan, which I'm going to do a video on. How do you do that? Or what kind of foods do I eat? Or how can I grow my career? Or how do I improve my credit? Basic things that some people just choose to ignore because they don't understand. And we typically tend to do that as human beings, right? When we see something that we don't understand, we'll typically push it out. Stop doing that. Stop doing that embrace the knowledge that's at your disposal. We live in an incredible time right now where you don't have to go to a library. You don't have to go talk to somebody. Pretty much any question you could ask is right there on your phone. You could type that in, you can get the answers right away. And I think that on top of being resourceful, I think it also serves a dual purpose. The secondary purpose there being retention. It is so much easier to retain information when you source it yourself, because there's work involved there, right? You have to type it in, you need to read it, maybe you need to listen to it. And I feel as though your propensity to retain that information is far greater than if it was just handed to you on a silver platter, right? So I want you to think about that as you're going through your day. Are you the type of person that's going to skip over it? Or are you the type of person that's going to try to expand your mental horizons, learn more information, apply it to your life, and grow? And that's what I want to see each and every one of you do. Grow together, grow with me. I'm going to be coming out with a lot more videos, self-improvement, fitness, and a whole bunch of other videos that I hope, with the information that I've gotten throughout my life and the things that I've learned, I can give back to other people, and hopefully we can conquer our goals together. That's what we're all about here at RTB. I want to make sure that everybody reaches their goals, whatever it happens to be, and if I can play a small role in you bettering yourself on a daily basis, man, that's all I could ever ask for. So thank you so much for listening. Comment, like, subscribe, hit that little bell button right there, and feel free to visit my website, RTBTransformations.com. Link right down below in the description. And with that, I am out.